I think this might be one of the most interesting homes I've toured near the Minneapolis lakes. Not because it's the biggest, not even because it's the newest, and definitely not because it's the most expensive. Actually, it's kind of the opposite. This home is expected to come to the market around $475,000. And if you've spent any time looking near Bde Maka Ska or Lake Harriet, which by the way, Lake Bde Maka Ska right there, Lake Harriet just that way, super, super close. But here's what actually really caught my attention about this whole thing is so this home was built in 1901, right? So it's over 120 years old. The layout, different. The character, different. And honestly, I'm still trying to figure out exactly who this home is perfect for. So let's explore it together and let's see if we can figure out who this is for. Before we head in, let's just take a look around the area. So the exterior of the home is beautiful. This is what we consider a 1.5 story home here in Minneapolis. I mean, the character just from the street, right? You've got the arched windows, a lot of wonderful, beautiful landscaping, a beautiful retaining wall. And like I said, so right down the street here, this is the cemetery. And then if you go down this road, straight down like 2 blocks, you're at Lake Bde Maka Ska, formerly Lake Calhoun. For reasons, obviously, name was changed to the original Dakota name. So again, you're just right off the street here. And if we take a look at the rest of the block, it is mature trees, again, hard to find. And it's one of the defining pieces of these older neighborhoods in Minneapolis because as we move from the lake further this direction in South Minneapolis, the homes start to be 1910, 1915, 1920, 1950s, 1960s once we get to Southwest Minneapolis and the Armitage neighborhood. But check out your landscaping. It's absolutely beautiful. It's low maintenance, already done. You've got built-in privacy, right? These will be green all year round, so built-in privacy on this end. You've got your bushes out front that keep some privacy. And then again, all year green over here too. Now, the exterior of the home is wood. This means there's a little extra maintenance things to consider when looking at it, but that's a whole other conversation. Okay, so first impressions. This is definitely not like every other home that you see online. All of this woodwork was custom done 2 homeowners ago. He was a carpenter, so there's a lot of little detail you're going to see throughout the home, and I'm excited to see this with you. It's all really, really cool. It's a beautiful front porch. Porches are really important in Minnesota. People love, love, love an enclosed porch. So this one's really nice. It's got insulation, a window unit, and you've got door here, and then a way to get into the home itself here. So this uniqueness may be a big selling point or it could be a big challenge. So we'll see. At the end, I'll share my opinion with you. One thing I want to point out too, these beautiful pine floors. So these are in really great shape. These are original to the home when it was built. And you see the archways, the light fixtures, and again, all these little details that are connected to this age of home. So the living room is nice because it does open up to the dining room and you've got your beautiful buffet. We'll take a look at that in just a second. So in this space, you've got a lot of space in a home of this age that again opens right onto the porch here for you. You've got some original windows, so that's something to consider. So in the dining room here, you've got your original wood windows with the leaded glass. These are things people absolutely love in Minneapolis and St. Paul. The other thing they love is that buffet I told you would come back to. So these are wonderful. You can store glassware, if they open, glassware. You can put out a nice holiday spread. You can utilize a lovely junk drawer or whatever else you want to use it for. It's amazing that they haven't touched this. A lot of times in these homes this age, we do see these gone. It's a huge bummer. And again, it's just the little details of the light fixtures, kind of hard to find. But can't you already see hosting family, friends, holidays, kind of Nice open floor flow between the living room and the dining room. And Derek hiding. Let's take a look at the kitchen. So this kitchen has been updated. So you've got nice butcher block countertops, nice backsplash, and really for the age of home again, a lot of space and counter space, which is hard to find. And my favorite thing though is you've got gas appliances. So good for cooking if that's something you like. Now, one of the things in Minneapolis in these older homes too are these vents. That's that thing right here. This isn't a code requirement. So a lot of older homes, you're going to find that they may not have a vent that vents outside of the home and you just have a circulating vent. That's totally okay. Just, make sure you've got some good airflow in the home and make sure that you understand not to turn your gas on and let it click, click, click. Bad news. But even the B-board ceilings, it's these little details that make these homes unique that you're not going to find in a lot of cookie cutter homes nowadays. And the all-important dishwasher in older homes. And again, everything's been nicely updated. And lots of counter space for this age of home and lots of cabinet space for a home this age. Here's a fun bit of history for you. So this neighborhood in this area, here's your bathroom. Main floor bath is really hard to find in Minneapolis sometimes. And a main floor full bathroom is sometimes pretty difficult to find. Now it is a little bit of a tight squeeze, but you do have some storage and enough space to shower and get ready for the day. But what I was saying about the history is this area, a lot of the homes in this area were built kind of during Minneapolis' streetcar area. And a lot of people don't realize that we had a streetcar time period or era, kind of back when neighborhoods were designed around people instead of cars. So this is kind of one of the reasons this area, feels a little different than a lot of newer developments. I mean, there's a lot of reasons this home feels different. Again, as we talked about before, right? You've got all of this custom done woodwork. You've got the mantle that was custom done. But these homes in these neighborhoods end up being built for convenience and quick, easy access. So you find a group of homes, and then a small group of commercial, and then another group of homes. Because again, it was all built kind of around that streetcar, and that's how people would get around. Now this space is kind of a bonus living space that actually opens up to this side little porch, patio, sunroom, kind of whatever you want to call it. Now, if this were me, I were looking to buy this home, this is a perfect plant room. It's warm, it's sunny, and it's got lots of great space for all of your home plants. Now the backyard, we'll head out there in a little bit, but take a look at this garage. That's not a house. That is a garage. And we'll talk about that in just a minute too. But take a look at this room. I think this might be one of my favorite spots in this entire home is this room. So now again, we're back in that little back living space. So you got this living space, the living space with the fireplace, and then through this room is another little bonus space. This could also be a really great spot for plants. This could be a really great spot for a home office, although it's not insulated, so it can get really cold in here, and I'll be real, it's hot in here today. But again, great little spot for plants or working or storage or really kind of whatever you want it to be. Oh, and there's a little lip. Be careful of that. All right. Well, let's take a look at upstairs. So again, we've got original lead glass windows, which again, people tend to take these out and I don't really understand why. And then you've got the original door too. Again, this home's got a lot of character. You're not going to find a lot of this character, like these little details on the banister, like your little pineapple here. A lot of these tend to disappear as people start to look for bigger, prettier homes, typically cookie cutter. But here is beautiful stained glass window. And this is a real stained glass window, not one of those fake plastic guys. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And little bonus storage right here. So it's kind of cool where they've kind of utilized every little space they can for storage. Now, upstairs, you've got 2 bedrooms, really great size. Let's take a look at this one. This one is probably my favorite because it has a fireplace. In Minneapolis, a lot of the homes that still have quote unquote wood burning fireplaces, you always just highly suggest that you get a chimney scope. What that means is they're going to run a camera up here. They're going to make sure that the flue and the liner are good. There's no cracks, no damage. It's probably dirty, but given the age of the home, not surprised. But check it out. You've got storage. Now again, if you're like me, you like central air, but this home has an abundance of wall units, and truthfully, it's not too terribly hot in the home itself today. And it's about 85 degrees, but tons of natural light. The beams, the skylights. It is just beautiful. Now, this is a queen bed. You could sneak a king bed in here. You may not be able to have your side tables in this space here, but you can see they've kind of utilized those side tables on the outside anyway. So the space does work for a king bed. If you're looking more so for a place for a TV in the bedroom, maybe not so much in this space. It'd be pretty high. But you do have your closet and you've got space for a dresser, which is also really cool. Now, let's talk about this bathroom. This is one of the most unique bathrooms I have seen in a long, long time. From your clamshells to the wallpaper to your columns. It's a fancy shower. What's nice though is you've got this full bathroom up here and you have a full bathroom downstairs too. And another beautiful skylight. Just tons of natural light in a home. In your tiniest little closet. But again, they've utilized the space to give you more storage, which again, sometimes is really hard to find in these homes. And then more storage. Let's check out this last bedroom. So again, we've got original pine floors all throughout the home. Now this room, again, they've kind of retrofitted with a closet. So they've got lots of storage again, a lot of natural light. And then a statement piece of a wall. Again, previous carpenter made this. It's a nice little statement piece. Now this could be a room that you could put a TV here if you want to, right? This wallpaper is really pretty. It may not be for you, but you could make this into maybe an entertainment space. And in this room, we've got maybe a queen or a full bed too. So again, you've got the space. It's 2 inches either end for a king bed. So you've got space to be in here. You can have side tables, maybe a little desk. They've got one of these old school little work desks, which are fun. But again, ample storage and space to work. But let's go take a look at the basement. Okay, so as we head to this basement, I'm starting to get a very good idea of who this home might be for. And I can tell you, right now, going through and coming down the basement, this is not made for tall people. So if you happen to be 6'3¼ like me, you can barely stand up in this basement. But again, in Minneapolis, this is kind of par for the course. And this basement has been, there's a few things throughout here where it's kind of been hodgepodge together, but it's functional. And really, at the end of the day, it creates a lot of cool storage space. Now, one of the other unique features with Minneapolis are these basement, quote unquote, bathrooms. So you've got your shower and your toilet. Now, technically, these do count as bathrooms in Minneapolis. Um, this might be one of those features that is a no go for buyers. So that's something to definitely take into account if you are looking at older homes. We also want to look at the mechanicals. This is a boiler. This is a little bit older. We can tell just from the rust and the dirt and the debris on it. We can take a deeper dive into boilers another time, but you want to always make sure you're paying attention to these mechanicals. And a lot of homes in South Minneapolis still have boiler heat. So that's something to consider too. If you like central air, or again, like me, if it gets to 70 degrees and you just start to sweat, radiant heat and window units may not cut it. Your water heater, though, looks to be newer, and you can always look for a manufacture date. And this one's from 2020. So this is only 6 years old. Now, water heaters can last 12 to 15 years old, and we can talk for a long time at length about maintenance and things like that. But as far as basements go in these older homes, this is pretty standard. They didn't build basements to necessarily be finished or entertainment spaces. One of the things I love about this home, though, is they have automatic lights, so it's kind of cool. Now, this space, again, I can barely stand up straight, and I'm 6'3 1/4. So if you're taller or you need clearance space, that's something to keep in mind. But again, pretty cool space down here. A lot of storage again. And it just kind of keeps going. This home is kind of like a maze, which again is a unique feature, but could be one of those ones where is the deal breaker for some people. Now, this space is essentially like a little, I don't know, media space, if you will. But what's kind of fun is this door. You'll never guess where it heads. Old school cellar doors. I'm not going to go through them because I don't know if they open, but kind of cool to still have these here. A lot of times these spaces get sealed off or closed, but they've kept it in this home. But let's get out of the house for a little bit, take a look around the area, and let's go check out Lake Bde Maka Ska. So Bde Maka Ska is the city's largest lake at 419 massive acres and a premier hub for neighborhood recreation, one of the most visited spots in the Twin Cities. On its western shores, it's a major local landmark, the Bakken Museum. It is housed in a stunning 1930s Tudor Revival mansion built by William Goodfellow, the man who sold his dry goods store to the founder of Target. In 1976, Medtronic co-founder Earl Bakken bought the estate, converted it into a hands-on STEM paradise, where families today can play with wacky static electricity tricks and see a live high-voltage Tesla coil demonstration. A lot of it was inspired by Frankenstein. It's a wonderful place to take your kids on a hot summer's day or in the dead of winter. What you're going to want to do, though, is head over to the Northeast Shore afterwards, the brand new $6.5 million Bde Maka Ska Pavilion. Originally built in the 1930s, burned down in 2019, rebuilt in 2023, houses pimento on the lake by Pimento Jamaican Kitchen. Delicious. And I highly, highly, highly recommend you try their jerk burger. So as we kind of come out to the backyard, what's nice about this property too is you're kind of set up on a hill. And again, these homes were built during the streetcar era back in 1901. So like we mentioned earlier in the video, one of the big things in this area and these neighborhoods that are well established are the idea of mature trees and canopies of trees that we don't find in newer neighborhoods. So as you come out back, you can kind of tell, this isn't like your suburb style grass. It's clover and things like that, but easily maintained, an amazing space out back. And you've got wood siding on this home. So that's another maintenance item. So, your wood siding needs to be painted and taken care of over the years. But that's a whole other conversation. But if you're adverse to wood siding or don't want the maintenance or the work or the responsibility, that's something to take into consideration again if you are looking to buy here in Minneapolis. So nicely fenced yard, that's again a high priority in Minneapolis. A lot of people have dogs. Minneapolis is a very dog friendly city. So being able to have that space And someone's planted a tree, so you have more shade back here at some point, which would be nice. But let's take a look at this garage, because again, it looks like its own little house. So you've got a nice little shed here. Don't step too far, you'll fall. But it's a nice little space to store your lawnmower and yard tools. And then we'll come across here into the garage itself. So again, this might be one of my favorite features of this entire home, and it's not even the home itself. So you step in and you have this whole upper space. Now, don't know if you know this, but this is the beginnings of an ADU, an accessory dwelling unit. So if you're looking to build a renter portfolio, or you're looking for a way to maximize your money or your return on your investment, and you want to have somebody else pay a portion of your mortgage, this would be a great way to start. Now you've got the one car here, and over there you've got the other car, and then we've got the space up here. And again, tons of space in great condition. These cinder blocks tell us it's a newer garage, so this garage, 99% sure, isn't original to the home. One, the size is a really good indicator of that, because in Minneapolis itself, a lot of times when these homes are built, especially the early 1900s, and then we start looking at post-war, they're typically one-stall garages, because you had 3 people in the household, maybe 4, right? Mom, dad, maybe 2 kids. So you only really needed 1 car. So again, this is that wood siding we were talking about. So you can see the difference between this siding and the siding on the home. Garages tend to be some of the places people just stop really caring about and don't really maintain. So this isn't really abnormal. It's pretty normal for a garage. But let's go take a look on the other side too for you, because this way we can get out to the alleyway. So another aspect of Minneapolis real estate is a lot of the homes are on alleyway parking. Now this home, obviously the garage is set a little bit different. Like we mentioned earlier, this area was built during the streetcar era. So it's a little more hilly on this side of the city, but you got newer concrete and a wonderful little alleyway. And like we mentioned before, you can see that that upper part is kind of the beginnings of that ADU, where you can turn it into rental and to money. And then you've got that 3-car garage, which, hello, I don't know what just happened with my thing. 3-car garage, which is hard to find in South Minneapolis. You've got a lot of 2-car garages down this place, but you can see that a lot of them are newer. So in your alleyway, one of the things that we suggest to people to do is walk the alleyway when you're looking for a home. It just gives you an idea of how people are going to maintain the homes, which is nice. And then with this home, you are right off the road, and right there is the cemetery. That way is Bde Maka Ska, and over that way on the other side of the cemetery is Lake Harriet, with Lake Harriet bandshell as well. Speaking of, let's go take a look at Lake Harriet. So slightly smaller at 335 acres, it is a slightly more intimate lake that kind of trades out that high energy buzz for a scenic, heavily wooded neighborhood feel. It's got 2.7-mile trail loop and 2 pristine swimming beaches. The crowning jewel here, though, is the iconic storybook blue bandshell on the North Shore. It was built in 1888, 1891, and 1903 it burned down, and rebuilt in 1986. Get some ice cream and snacks from Bread and Pickle. You will not be disappointed. You can also go take a walk through the Peace Garden, Robert Byrd Sanctuary, and the historic Rose Garden, which is the second oldest public rose garden in the country. It's an amazing lifestyle perk for local homeowners. Now, I promised you my final thoughts on the property. Is this home for everybody? No. But is it in a wonderful location and a wonderful price point for the area? Absolutely yes. If you are considering making a move anywhere in Minneapolis, St. Paul, or the greater Twin Cities, or you're looking to move to the area, please remember and do me a favor, like and subscribe and comment below what your favorite part of this video was and your favorite part of the home. I put out weekly videos on education and all things Minneapolis, St. Paul, and the greater Twin Cities, and home tours. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next video.